Okay, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Junupi. Welcome back to my channel once again. And today, what we have to do, we have to analyze news. We will go to analyze news just to follow them up, to analyze what is going on. Then I will put my comment as it's going on. So today I will be your host. So I will try as much as possible to put my own contribution in this episode because you see we have a large Tanko in our Rise News, so we want to hear what he want to say because you know this gentleman is mouthpiece of P2B, you know, so whatever he says is what P2B intended to say. So I would like to put my comment because I love this gentleman. He speak P2B mind always. So let's go.
Discretion of INEC. How would you react to this?
Okay, thank you and good morning for everyone. And let me just use this opportunity to pay a tribute to Mr. Ariyo Atoide, who was part of the people who identified the need for an electoral reform and then being cascaded down again by Mr. Peter Aka and the rest of us who follow suit immediately. During the 2023 general election, we realized that there's a lacuna in the Electoral Act.
You see? Oh my God. P2B camp, obedient, they realized there is a lacuna and they needed to reform election, you know? But the APC was deaf and dumb. They didn't want to do that because they know this is the only way, the only chance for them to, you know, continue winning an election. Because remember, Tinubu take off where Buhari left. May his soul rest in peace.
Of course, some of the political parties that were together in the Inter-Party Advisory Council actually have been championing the issue of electoral reform. Now, let me make a clarification. There is a kind of misinformation that Section 222 of the Electoral Act that is being retained by the National Assembly was being precipitated on the fact that some areas do not have network, and that there's this particular word that they are trying to manipulate: transfer and transmit. To transfer means that at any time you could decide to transfer, just like you transferring money. But remember also, at the time in which you are transferring money, the bank ensures that they transmit immediately. You know, transmission means at the time in which you transfer, it's reached that particular point. So there are two words, but they are being manipulated in a way to mean one thing. So the National Assembly idea of trying to say, we've already approved the issue of transfer and all, the question is that if you and I who live in the village want to do transfer of money, it goes immediately. Why is it difficult for you to transfer or transit election results? So that's to tell you there's a question mark in it.
You don't think that perhaps looking at it from the other side, that this is just an attempt to ensure that they don't toy or gamble with the electoral process and they're trying to be realistic as much as possible?
There's not anything about realistic here. It shows our deficiency. For any country like, for example, India, who has more population, possibly more bigger landmark, and the number of voters and all, can transmit result at real time, immediately, for over millions of voters. Billions.
Okay, you hear that? Because normally, Nigeria is a India of Africa. So in most cases, people normally use India to give example, like, look at India. India is billions of people and the election is going well. My question is, why can't Nigeria do the same? That is what Alhaji Tanko is asking. We all are asking questions, including obedience. So the question here is Nigeria incompetent, or is it the much to do about the corruption things? Because I believe it's a corruption thing, not because Nigeria is not competent. Nigeria is well able to do anything if they wish to, but the corrupt leaders won't let them be.
In the billions. Billions in there, yes, they can transfer result at that particular. What happened to us? In fact, if you are real and you are serious as a nation, it should be a shame on ourselves and the leaders in the National Assembly. But at this point,
Bam, it should be a shame on ourselves because a whole parliamentary couldn't even safeguard institutional rights of them for them to do the right thing. I mean, they are the gatekeeper of Nigerian law, but could you see they are toying with Nigerian law by giving a conflicting laws, giving a misinterpreting laws. This makes things very difficult for judges. And you know, we also have a corrupt judges, and this makes things much difficult for ordinary citizens.
let me also appreciate some of the senators, using Senator Abaribe as a point of contact, who were able to.
I love that word he says. He says, let him appreciate some of the senators like Senator Abaribe. I mean, Senator Abaribe is one of the Senate that Nigeria will miss in a decade to come, because this man essentially fight for Nnamdi Kanu. I mean, this man essentially fight for good governance. This man essentially fight for Southeast. This man in extent fight for Nigerians as a whole. Come on, we have to give it to him because he's a man of the people. Even me, I testify, he's a man of the people. We need senators like Senator Abaribe, because this is the people that knows that Nigerians are dying, are suffering with hunger, with sickness, and Nigeria need help. Nigeria is in dire condition. I mean, Nigeria is in life support. We need those kind of people, but we don't have them many, at least for now. So it's important for we to understand that Senator Abaribe is one of the people that Nigeria need most. But let's go.
To come out and say this is exactly what took place. This is just to encourage those who are developing cold feet in challenging the status quo. Right. That yes, because some of them have come out and say this is exactly, because many of us wouldn't have known that there was actually a attempt to manipulate the system where it was not correct. So the truth about it is that we should have even find out and insist that those areas that it's assumed not to have any network, the National Assembly should give a marching order to show that they are progressive. Go and make sure there is power in that particular area, and there's also, they can easily transfer those particular results at real time. This is a marching order. That's to show you that you are interested in giving credible election. Look, ladies and gentlemen, none of us is doing this because we have a personal interest. No, we just want a credible election that will bring in credible leaders. We, and His Excellency Mr. Peter will be saying that we need to change this narrative. We are always docile in the fact that we are minors, we can't do this, we can't do this. Peter Obi, for example, traveled to 3 states in one day, in 3 states solving about 4 issues. He was in Asaba, Asaba to Enugu, Enugu to Lagos, Lagos back to Asaba, Asaba back to Lagos and to Kano, and then he was able to do this. That's to show you there's an energy in this particular individual. What I'm trying to use as an example is to say that, look, we need to be progressive in our action of solving problems, not to always use that. Just like we go, if you are traveling along Nigerian road, you see our policemen in an area where the roads are bad. They use the area where the roads are bad to form a cascade. That's to show you that, look, we are, exposing ourselves. That's to show you use our bad area to use it as an advantage to people who are in position of power. It has to stop.
You see, Alhaji Tanko make a point. Remember, somebody like Strowole fighting for police, for their welfare and well-being. But remember, the politicians always use police to attack Strowole. So we have to give in to Strowole too. What Alhaji Tanko is saying here, that the police should stop. You know, they use the vulnerability of our roads to do evils. And this is a stark reminder that the corruption is so deep in that even a police couldn't be your friend anymore.
They should have used that particular opportunity and said this road must be repaired and all. Federal road safety, you see them on federal road safety, you see custom and all. That is exactly what the Senate is doing.
All right. The thing is now is, what's the plan? If the Senate reconvenes and there is harmonization, at the end of the day, this is not passed, although you're already at the National Assembly occupying there, protesting, what's the plan? This is not the first time we've had protests in this country, and what the public wanted did not finally go through.
I remember my experience as a field marshal of Save Nigeria. I've led several, just like what you said. We've had experience in things being not done. We are interested, we are determined to take this further. This country must be repaired now.
And further, you mean?
Yes, we must take that decision now. A lot of people...
What do you mean by further?
What I mean is that every time we have a stopgap in an area, we say this is our demand. And then when they do maybe abracadabra and manage it, and everybody go back to rest and think that everything is dandy. No, it is not dandy until when we have credible election.
He's making sense. Alhaji Tanko is making sense because look, you know, Bola Ahmed Tinubu realized that the opposition's main business this time, so he tried to please them half, you know, by trying to put that transmitted and also manual transfer. So as an opposition, what he's trying to say that all the opposition must fight hard, fight to the finish, because if the manual transfer still exists, there is a risk that the election will be leaked. That's what he's essentially saying.
This country. So we are not going to stop, and we're not encouraging anybody to stop, because without credible election, we cannot have credible leaders. Without credible leaders, we cannot have credible governance in this country. Without credible governance in this country, we cannot have good governance, which we champion.
Bam. You see, without credible election, you can't get credible leader. And without credible leader, you can't get credible results. You see, all work hand to hand.
Because we want Nigeria to be better than the way it is, so that everybody, most of our people who are outside the country, can come back home and add to the development of the country. We cannot continue to allow these people to continue in this narrative and continue to submerge this country like a submarine under the water, and then we cannot do anything. We must.
Yes, he make a point. We cannot allow them continue treating us like an animal, because we own this country together. So all Nigerians, whether you are from southeast, southwest, south north, or north north, north south, north east, you are, so far you are a Nigerian, you have a right for your opinion to be counted. So this is a time, because 2027 is a bridging, let me say a bridge. If you could not cross that bridge in 2027, it's finished. That's what he's essentially saying right now.
As a people, yesterday, His Excellency Mr. Peter Obi took a lot of people by storm by coming out, because they doubted that whether he's going to come out. But he did, and then that shows leadership. And that shows energy. At the same time, we are expecting more people. Look, Nigeria is not for one person, it's for every one of us. And people are busy collecting Mr. President's money. It is our money. Use this money for the benefit of every Nigerian. It is our money. Nobody's. Look, when you look at the narrative and ask yourself, what did Mr. President do as a businessman to earn this particular money that is distributing to you? None. In Kano yesterday, I met somebody in Kano, and he was like, Mr.
You see, Alhaji Tanko make a point here also. Mr. Tinubu now is, or should I say President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is now distributing money. Remember, he's a president, a current president, distributing money. So ask yourself a question: former governor, former senate, now a president, now he's distributing money for his campaign. Where did the money came from? Because be less attentive. You know, this is a money meant for Nigerians people, a money meant for our infrastructure, money made for our development of our countries. Now they will use it for the campaign. The cycle continues, and you will continue suffering because you receive 1,000, 2,000 naira, which is just like 10 cents or 20 cents, and your life will continue being bondage. So you have to learn to say no for your benefit of tomorrow, for the benefit of your future, for benefit of your family. It's important, because this is where Nigerians get it wrong. Sometimes we always think that that 2,000 can solve. Just imagine 2,000 divided for 4 years. I mean, it's nothing.
Mr. Peter Obi, I met you, I am one of your distributor. He alluded to the fact that Mr. Peter Obi was a businessman. You understand? So in that similar fact, to tell you that this is somebody who is managing resources, who can generate resources, administer it and maintain it and give accountability. In this case, many governors are collecting so much funds, many governors are collecting Nigerian money and individual, and they feel justifiable for doing that. It is treasonable offense against the Nigerian people. It should not be tolerated in any way.
Bam. Did you hear that? It is treasonable offense. As a politician, your work is to safeguard citizens of Nigeria. But what did they do? They are so corrupt. Some even want hand to the terrorists. The politicians of Nigeria is so corrupt that even the international community hears the odors, the smelling, you know? So,
okay. Now, what other reforms do you think are urgently needed besides the e-transmission?
Well, there is this particular issue about the issue of nomadic politicians who move from point A to point B. I know some other person will pick me up on this. Yes. So let me explain. With laws that can enable people to remain where they are, people will not move. And why they move, in the case of my principal, he moved justifiably because of certain reasons about the issue of not making the laws that can make sure that nobody moves. I give a case in an example. You have a candidate who have said this A, B, C, D is wrong.
Il modo più semplice per costruirsi una rendita non è comprare una casa e metterla in affitto, perché per comprare una
Internal democracy cannot be done in this way, it must be done in this way. Now, the government in power, instead of them making sure that the rules are done accordingly, they infiltrate that particular party to ensure that that particular candidate does not get that particular candidate and making it verbally known. So in that case, what do you expect him to do? Who want to make sure that there's changes in this country? He cannot remain in that particular. But if the right things are being done, we won't have people moving from one political party.
Dr. Tanko, on that point, is it about moving to another party, or is it about losing your position when you move? Because you cannot stop people from moving, but they have to lose the benefit when they move.
Exactly. Now, in Ghana, for example,
because in the UK, party, some cabinet members have already moved to another party, so
yes,
it is losing your position.
Look at the way we do ours. You will take my own position. I sold a manifesto of a political party to you. You voted me in. And when I got into that particular, and I trade that your discussion I have with you and go into another position, it's not acceptable. You can't trade before, and say, I'm moving. So I'm not telling you anything. The new party in which I'm moving to, and then it must have a stipulated time. We're going to do that. That way, it will give credibility to the process. So we must ensure that particular clause that say if there is no problem in one political party or the other, and then you cannot. No, that is divisive.
You see, Alhaji Tanko is also making points here. Like, the problem of political parties of Nigeria started like when the politicians moving from one place to the other, you know, they don't respect the laws and they use the clauses of the laws to advantage themselves, to benefit themselves, to manipulate the law essentially. So what he's saying that if APC elected you, you should remain in APC. If PDP elected you, you should remain in PDP. If ADC elected you, you have all the right to stay in ADC. Labour Party elected you, you have all the right to stay in Labour Party. There's no need for you to be moving like a cow, like a nomadic cow. So you have to stay where you are. That's what he's essentially saying.
It's just an idea to manipulate the system and the people. Once you say you move out of that political party, you lose your seat, you are out, then go and open it up for another contest. Okay. That's how it's supposed to be. It will serve as a solution to most of the problem of nomadism in Nigeria.
Okay. Alhaji Tanko, just to put this conversation in proper perspective, there are those who would say that Mr. Peter Obi and the supporters and the protesters of this, the advocates of this real-time electronic transmission of results have some inordinate political interest because against the backdrop of the National Assembly saying that it's going to have an emergency meeting today to take a second look at the electoral draft. Some people find this, some people have argued that this is an issue of utter disregard to the process of the National Assembly. Starting the protest on Monday, when you knew the National Assembly will be taking a look at the drafts.
Everything is wrong with us. Believe me. We have a country where expenditure is being done without even passing the bills, without even knowing how the bills are. I mean, the budget is being expended, without it being expended accordingly.
Do you hear that? Only in Nigeria we spend our politicians, our presidents, our senates, they spend a bill without even pass the bill. So could you imagine? How can you know what is going on? So the level of corruption is too much. It's too much. Come on.
We have an issue in this country where every institution is being purified. So everything is wrong. If not that those particular senators and some of us have come out and said no to this, we wouldn't have had that particular opportunity and say, look, they are going to revisit it. Our demand has always been that they should revisit it, sit back, have a combined National Assembly sitting from both the Federal House of Reps and Senate.
Sorry, I said proper perspective. I wanted to say broader perspective. So that does not disregard any of the points that have been channeled.
Yeah. So they must sit and know that they're representing the people. And then line by line, you see, what happened was that even the same thing that happened in the tax law, line by line, then people, Nigerians, maybe would have to take note of what was agreed and approved so that nobody will come again through the back door and manipulate the words for us. No, we want to see line by line and agree on it. In this case, and everybody who is voting possibly can also say, yes, I voted for this or against it. This is happening in developed countries. We are saying it. In fact, the vote...
Alhaji Tanko make a point, like here in developed countries, we all know as an African, we see them, we know, we feel it, we touch it. If they are voting, you know the party that voted yes, you know the party that voted no. So that in the next election, if their manifesto did not go with your agenda, with your feelings, with your aim, you will vote them out. But in Nigeria, they only do yes have it, nays no. Highs have it, nays no. And this is a problem. Country like Nigeria have to have, electronic voting, which will be displayed with according to parties, so that everybody will know which party is which. Because this is 2026 and we are still doing highs have it, nays no.
Things are being put on the public domain. We know who did this or who did, because Nigerians are watching.
Right.
And they want to know who is representing them correctly, so that by the time you come back home, whether you are going to give you flour or chase you with cane. Because it has happened already in some other areas in the north. People are being chased. And look, there's dignity in labor. Dignity for this country. We must face it. Nobody will do it for us. And we call ourselves a giant of Africa, and look at it, we are gianting down below. It's totally unacceptable.
Okay, talk to us about your principal and his foray into the African Democratic Congress and his chances with contending figures that are also or maybe also interested in the presidential election. I mean, the elections are very close, barely a year away, and we don't know what's happening in that party. Are you confident that your principal stands a chance?
My confidence lies on my principal, for the fact that he has shown the level of resilience and determination. He has also made it clear right from the beginning that he did not go into any coalition because of his personal interest. He's going into the coalition because he wants to see Nigeria work, and it must be tailored around the program of building a Nigeria of our dream. Be as it may, he also realized that during the 2023 general election, yes, he has made a movement and a voting process that have brought in unbelievable vote that was allocated to him. But at the same time, too, it is time for him to also advance further to ensure that he carries everybody along who are having doubting Thomases before. And that was why when people come around and say, look, let's work together. Let us build a nation. And then he said, okay, fine. If you are building a nation that will work, let all of us come together. That was why he has to go into a coalition. Remember, this coalition is only for individual candidate and individual Nigerians. The coalition can metamorphose into political parties. They're two different things. The parties, some parties can come and go and say, we are also joining this particular coalition. So at this point, there is a building of trust among every Nigerian who want a change, a genuine change for the country. And that's the reason why he went in. And at the same time, we are believing that Nigerians should be able to see the difference from a Peter Obi and other candidates.
The difference is clear. Peter Obi and other candidates, we Nigerians, we know the difference. The difference is very clear. I mean, Peter Obi is a sun, others are darkness. So we know he's a light. Peter Obi is a light. So we all know. All obedient know. So for me, I know. Atiku is also good. So, but I don't know. Let's look how it will play.
Somebody who is a builder of resources, manager of resources, executor of resources, building bridges, credibility, accountability, consistency, and compassion. This is what he has already shown over the years, to a point in which he has challenged everybody. Bring out anything against me if you have, and then I will explain or I will. So nobody has taken up.
I mean, Alhaji Tanko, he finished up. I mean, Peter Obi is a man to be challenged with, and Atiku is also a man to be rigging with. So, I mean, I know that there's a lot of panic in the camp of Bola Ahmed Tinubu. So, let's watch how it will play. Because for me, I know the game will be PDP, APC, ADC. But for me, if he asks me to give my results, if there is not rigging, there is not corruption scandals and all those things, ADC will come out on top. If, but big if, Peter Obi and Atiku merge together, work together, they will beat Bola Ahmed Tinubu. But it remains to be seen if two of them will work together, or maybe along the line they will just break up. Let's see. So my name is Asa Junipi and welcome to my channel. If it's your first time watching, please go and watch all my channels. Go and watch Asa Junipi live. Go and watch Asa Junipi, my main channel. Go and watch all my Asa Junipi show, Asa Junipi Academy. I have Asa Junipi game, a lot of Asa Junipi. So go and watch all my channels because I teach you something. In all video I do, I teach you something. Peace, one love.